They called Earth ships a joke. The grand hall of the Galactic War Council was filled with laughter. Leaders from different alien races sat around a glowing table, watching a large screen. On the screen, Earth's new fleet was launching into space. Small ships. Old designs. Weak engines. That's what they saw. One alien, tall and covered in red scales, pointed and laughed. Is that a transport ship? Are they sending garbage to fight us? Another alien, with glowing blue eyes and sharp teeth, leaned forward. Humans must be joking. That's not a fleet. That's a funeral procession. Everyone laughed again, except one. In a quiet corner of the Earth Space Command Center, Captain Rhea watched the same footage in silence. Her face was calm. Her eyes, cold. The room around her was filled with whispers, questions, and nervous glances. But she didn't speak. She already knew what they would say. She had expected this reaction. Let them laugh, she thought. The truth was, those weren't Earth's real ships. The ones on screen were decoys, old, outdated ships made to look like Earth's best. It was part of the plan. The real fleet, the real monsters were still hidden. They were sleeping. 2 days earlier, in a deep underground facility, miles beneath Earth's oceans, a massive black ship rested in the dark. Its shape was sharp, its surface smooth like glass. No lights, no noise, just silence. It was called Leviathan. No one outside Earth had ever seen it, not even the Galactic Council. That was about to change. Back at the Galactic Council, the laughter started to fade. A few alien generals narrowed their eyes. Why hasn't Earth responded to our broadcast? One of them asked. We insulted them in front of 1,000 worlds. They haven't even sent a message. They're afraid. Another said. But the Crawl warlord shook his head. His voice was deep and rough. No, this is not fear. This is something else. Still, most of the council didn't listen. They decided to test Earth. A small alien cruiser was sent toward Earth's outer orbit. Its mission was simple: destroy a satellite, then leave. A warning shot. Earth didn't fight back. The satellite exploded into dust. No human voice came. No weapons fired. No ships followed. Just silence. Inside Earth Command, people waited for orders. But Captain Rhea sat still. Then, a single message appeared. On her console. Permission granted. Activate Project Leviathan. No sound came from her lips, but her fingers moved fast. She turned to her officers. Send the signal. Across the ocean floor, deep under layers of rock and steel, the Leviathan came alive. No lights, no engines, just a soft vibration. Then, with a sudden flash, it rose, straight through the water, the rock, and the sky, without warning. It didn't break the ocean surface. It simply disappeared. Vanished. It had warped. The Galactic cruiser was still floating near Earth's orbit when their sensors went black. The pilot tried to fix them. System error. Strange signal. Before he could finish, his ship cracked. In half. From nothing. No warning. No explosion. Just silence. And then destruction. Back in the council hall, alarms started to ring. What just happened? Shouted one general. Cruiser 7 has been destroyed. No survivors. What weapon did they use? There was no energy signal. No missiles, no lasers. It just broke. The room fell quiet. No more laughter. Just fear. On Earth, Rhea received the report. She didn't smile. She didn't speak. She only looked out the window. The stars above, Earth were calm, but she knew that was about to change. Far across the galaxy, hidden military bases began to wake up. Long black ships shaped like blades crawled out of secret hangars. They had no names, no serial numbers, not even communication signals. They were not made for defense. They were made for one purpose: to end wars. In the final moments of Part 1, a transmission from Earth is sent out. It's short, calm, emotionless. Captain Rhea's voice is heard. We watched, we waited. You called our ships a joke. You called us weak. You were wrong. Then silence again. The galaxy doesn't know it yet, but Earth is done pretending. Their first attack, and Earth didn't flinch. The alien cruiser moved like a shark through the black sea of space. Its captain, a member of the Skarn race, stood tall on the bridge. His forearms moved fast over the controls as he barked orders. His name was Vakor. He had destroyed 17 colonies in his career. He was proud, confident. "Human territory ahead," said one of his crew. Vakor grinned. "Find a satellite. Anyone, destroy it, let's see how fast they cry." The crew laughed. The screen lit up with the image of an old Earth communications satellite. Small, unguarded, floating quietly above the planet. "Fire," Vakor ordered. A bright green beam flashed from the cruiser's nose. The satellite vanished. Target, destroyed. Everyone on the bridge cheered. "Any reply?" Vakor asked. "No, Captain." "Radio silence?" "Complete silence." Vakor raised an eyebrow. "Strange." He opened a direct channel to the Galactic War Council. "Target eliminated. No resistance, no response," he said with pride. The council applauded. "Just as expected," one alien leader said. "Earth is weak. They've accepted defeat without a fight." But deep inside Vakor's chest, something didn't feel right. Something was missing. Where was the panic? Where were the screams? Where were the angry threats? Down on Earth, the news of the destroyed satellite reached Command Center Alpha. Alarms blinked. Screens flashed. Officers looked around, expecting orders, but Captain Rhea just stood there, still and calm, staring at the damage report. "They broke our satellite," said a young officer. Rhea said nothing. "They're waiting for us to scream," said another. Still, she didn't answer. Then she walked to her private terminal and typed in a code only she knew. A black screen appeared. A new message was waiting. Leviathan Scout arrived. "Orders?" She answered with 2 words. "Observe only." Far, above Earth, unseen by any alien sensor, a ship moved like a shadow. No engine sound, no heat signature, no lights. The Leviathan Scout. It floated above Vakor's cruiser, invisible. It watched. It listened. It waited. On Vakor's ship, things began to go wrong. One by one, the systems started to lag. Radar blinked. Communications slowed. Navigation maps shifted by 1 degree. "Strange readings, Captain," said a crew member. Vakor frowned. "Diagnostics. Now." The engineer opened a control panel, then paused. There's nothing wrong. Everything is working. But the ship feels wrong. Outside, the stars themselves seemed to shift. Vakor stepped closer to the window. "Is that Earth's moon? Moving?" No one answered. Because at that moment, the Leviathan Scout turned on its sensors. Just for 1 second, every system on the cruiser went black. Total silence. Then, power returned. But something had changed. The lights on the ship turned red. Weapons systems began to misfire on their own. Doors locked, engines froze. Crew members screamed as their controls sparked. "What is happening?" Vakor shouted. His ship was under attack, but there was no enemy, no bullets, no ships, just an unseen force. Then, the main screen flickered, and Captain Rhea's face appeared. She didn't speak. She didn't smile. She just stared at Vakor, like a teacher watching a child throw a tantrum. Then her image vanished, and so did the Leviathan Scout. No warp, no light, just gone. Back on Earth, Rhea stood alone in the observation room. Her officers waited in silence behind her. "Do we respond, Captain?" one asked. She shook her head. "Not yet." "Why?" "Because they still think we're weak," she said. "Let them." The Galactic Council received Vakor's final report. "Something was here, something we couldn't see. We are retreating." The room filled with panic. What was it? Earth has cloaking technology? No, that was more than cloaking. The defy. Kral Warlord slammed his fist on the table. "I warned you all, Earth is not what it seems." One council member leaned forward. "We need to send the main fleet." Another shouted, "No, we provoke them more and they'll show us their real weapons." But what if that was their real weapon? Then came silence. Fear was growing, but they didn't know yet. The Leviathan scout was just a drone, a messenger. The real fleet was still asleep. In the final moments of this part, Rhea receives a private transmission from a deep vault. A cold, mechanical voice speaks. Project Leviathan Prime status standby. Awaiting threat level, Omega. Rhea doesn't reply. She closes the screen and whispers to herself, "Not yet, but soon." Project Leviathan has awakened. A deep hum echoed under the Earth's crust. Far below the surface, under frozen mountains and oceans, inside ancient vaults no alien had ever seen, something old had started to wake. Project Leviathan. It wasn't a weapon. It wasn't even a fleet. It was something else. Something born from Earth's darkest fears. And built in silence. Captain Rhea stood alone in the command chamber. It was quiet except for the soft heartbeat of machinery all around her. Green lights blinked along the massive walls, each one tracking a buried Leviathan core. "Status?" she asked. A calm voice answered. "Core 01, awakening. Core 02, awaiting trigger. Core 03, drifting beyond Mars." She stared at Core 01. "That one's enough," she said. "We don't need the others. Not yet." "Authorization required," said the system. Rhea placed her hand on a black panel. It lit up. Command: Awaken Leviathan Core 01. Code: Judgment Day. Hundreds of miles away, deep in a no-fly zone surrounded by storms and false signals, a mountain cracked open. Inside it was no ordinary machine. It had no pilots. It didn't need any. Built by old Earth engineers who had long vanished, this Leviathan was AI-driven, powered by quantum dark energy, and armored with Earth-forged black matter, material no alien sensor could detect. Its name appeared as it activated. Unit 01, the silence below. In orbit, hidden ships of several alien races were watching. Skarn, Kral, Zethi, and even the ancient Harkon Empire had sent scouts to spy on Earth's response. They were waiting for humans to panic. They were hoping for fear. Instead, they saw the ground split, and something impossible crawl out. Black. Silent. Massive. It moved like it didn't care about gravity. Its surface absorbed all light, like a hole in space. Even the sensors didn't register its shape correctly. "What? What is that?" whispered a Kral officer. The Skarn scout commander leaned forward. "It's not a ship. It's not a building. It's not alive. It's wrong." Then the Leviathan turned its head, toward them. One by one, their scout ships lost power. No fire, no attacks, just off, dead in space. Like Earth itself had blinked. Back in the Galactic Council, emergency signals rang. Skarn scouts have gone. Dark. Kral ships missing. Harkon outposts, offline. Chaos spread like fire through the chamber. An old warlord stood up. "We must attack now. If we wait, Earth will..." Then a message arrived. From Earth, from Captain Rhea. It played on the central screen. No words, just an image. A dark, massive shape rising from Earth's crust. Its arms opening, its head tilting upward. A strange pulse of energy surrounding it. Then text appeared. "This is not a warning. This is the beginning." Captain Vakor, still recovering from his ship's mysterious blackout, received the footage and froze. His eyes widened. "That thing," he whispered. "It saw us. It knew we were watching." His crew stood behind him, pale and shaking. One asked, "Should we return to Earth?" Vakor shook his head slowly. "No, we must not go back. Not until we know what else they've been hiding." But it was already too late. Because something else had just activated. Not on Earth, but beyond Pluto. In the shadow of a dying star, something ancient turned. It had no crew, no language. It had waited, since before Earth had satellites. It was part of Leviathan Prime, a forgotten piece, and now it received the pulse from Core 01. The signal was clear. Awaken, Prepare. Its engines lit with cold blue fire. It turned toward Earth, but not in defense, in warning. On Earth, Rhea stood in front of a secret chamber. The walls were lined with armor suits never seen by the public. She touched one. "Will they understand?" asked her second in command. "No," Rhea said. "But they will feel it." She turned. "Tell the council. We didn't build Leviathan to destroy them. We built it to remind them." "Remind them of what?" She gave a small smile. "That Earth doesn't kneel. The Alien Council declares total war, and regrets it instantly." The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council was in chaos. Dozens of alien races had gathered. Their leaders screamed over one another. Some demanded war. Others begged for peace. And a few just watched the recordings of Earth's Leviathan machines in silence, their faces pale with fear. At the center of the room, a large hologram showed Leviathan Unit 01 rising from Earth's crust. Next to it, new footage played, something darker, moving beyond Pluto, the unknown Leviathan. "Enough!" shouted High Speaker Drovax of the Krull Dominion. His voice thundered through the chamber. "Earth has insulted the honor of every species in this council." He raised one long, clawed finger toward the image. "They built these monsters in secret. They tricked us with weak ships, fake tech. We laughed. They wanted us to laugh, and now they dare to show us this threat? This is war." A second voice growled beside him. General Corva of the Skarn nodded slowly. "Earth has declared its intent. No more questions, no more waiting. We strike, we end humanity now." A vote was called. Each species chose, war or no war. Seconds later, the results flashed. War declared. Unanimous. But something strange happened. The chamber went silent. All eyes turned to the back of the hall. A hooded figure walked forward. Slow, steady. No one had noticed her enter. No guards stopped her. She walked straight to the center into the light, then pulled back her hood. It was a human. "Impossible," shouted Drovax. "Security, who allowed this?" But the human woman spoke before anyone moved. Her voice was calm. "You voted for war," she said. "You won't survive it." "Who are you?" snapped Corva. She smiled. "I'm Earth's real ambassador," she said. "Not the one you met in your halls. That one was for show. I am the one who speaks when peace ends." A silence fell over the room. Then she lifted a small device, pushed a single button. Nothing seemed to happen, but across the galaxy, hidden in nebulae and asteroid belts, things began to wake. Leviathan Units 05 through 12 activated. Within minutes, Council war fleets were dispatched. Thousands of ships from different species, Krull, Skarn, Harkon, Zethi, and many more, joined together, forming the largest invasion force in known history. They came for Earth. They came proud, confident. They believed humans would panic, that Earth would break. Instead, Earth went quiet. No broadcasts, no pleas, no response. The silence felt like a trap. Still, the fleets reached Earth's orbit. Their commanders gave the order, "Begin the strike." That's when it happened. The sky bent, a ripple tore across space, like someone had pulled back a curtain. From the dark side of the moon, a single object appeared. No lights, no heat, no energy signature. A Leviathan, but different. Larger, older. Its name was never spoken aloud, but it was feared even by Earth's own scientists. It was Leviathan Unit 0, called only one name, God's Engine. The lead warship fired first. A plasma cannon burst through the void and struck the Leviathan. Nothing happened. The Leviathan didn't even turn. Then, slowly, it opened. The middle of the machine split apart like petals unfolding. Inside was no weapon. It was a mirror, just a massive, hovering mirror. The alien fleet stared in confusion. "What is that?" asked one commander. Then their own weapons turned. Every ship that had aimed at Earth now turned its weapons toward its own fleet. They had been hacked. Not by Earth, not by humans. by the machine itself. In seconds, half the fleet self-destructed. The rest fled in panic. Earth never fired once. In the council chamber, chaos returned. Reports screamed across channels. Fleet lost. Weapons turned against us. Unknown AI presence detected in core systems. The hooded human woman was gone. No one had seen her leave, but she had left something behind. A small card, glowing with soft blue light. On it were the words, "You wanted war. You didn't ask if Earth was ready. You never wondered if we were waiting." Back on Earth, Captain Rhea stood in the control room of the Leviathan network. Dozens of Leviathans hovered around the planet, silent and still. Each one linked. Each one watching. Her comms officer spoke. "Council forces retreating. Entire invasion force broken." Rhea nodded. "Did they send a second wave?" "No, they're too afraid now." She smiled faintly. "Good, let them fear." Then she turned to a screen showing a blinking signal. "Deep in space. Begin next phase," she said. "What's the order called, ma'am?" She stared at the signal. "Call it Truth Above the Stars." Truth above the stars. Earth's secret colony has been watching the galaxy all along, far beyond Earth. Past Neptune, beyond even Pluto. There was a place no alien had ever seen, a place hidden by gravity folds, dark energy fields, and ancient cloaking tech. It did not appear on maps. It gave off no signals. But it existed. A black planet orbited a dying star, surrounded by floating stations shaped like thorns. This was Erebus Prime, Earth's first and secret colony, hidden for over 300 years. Even most humans didn't know about it. Here, humanity watched the stars, not with hope, but with eyes trained, like hunters. Inside Erebus Prime, deep underground, was a massive command hall. Humans walked in silence, their faces serious, their movements sharp and trained. Every wall was filled with star maps, alien fleet routes, military chatter from dozens of species. Nothing escaped them. In the center stood a man with a scar over one eye. Commander Tarek Voss. He was not born on Earth. He was born on Erebus. He had never seen the blue skies of the homeworld, but he had sworn his life to protect it. Today, something had changed. Alarms were lighting up everywhere. The AI spoke in a cold voice. "Leviathan Unit 00 has activated. Council fleets have retreated. Earth's skies are clear." Tarek's fist tightened. "They really did it," he whispered. "They declared war." His second in command, a woman named Lynn, looked up from her screen. "There's something else," she said. She tapped a few keys. A feed opened. Grainy footage played of the council's vote. And then, the hooded human woman. Tarek leaned closer. He recognized her. Everyone in Erebus did. She was only known by a code name, the Whisper, a ghost, a legend. And she had just revealed herself to the entire galaxy. Elsewhere, on a station orbiting Erebus Prime, a small group of children watched from a glass dome. They were young, but not ordinary. Each one had eyes that glowed faintly, in the dark, born in space, raised in gravity control, trained from birth. They were called the Stellarkin, Earth's second generation of spaceborne humans, faster, smarter, adapted to vacuum and isolation. One boy looked at the stars and pointed. "What's that blinking light?" he asked. An instructor frowned and leaned closer. It wasn't part of the regular map. It was coming from deep in Council territory, encrypted. But Earth code, a forgotten beacon, or something worse. Back in Erebus, Commander Tarek stood before the war table. Red dots showed alien fleets, green ones showed Leviathans, but a blue dot had just appeared, one that hadn't moved in years. It was waking up. Tarek stared at it in silence. "Open it," he said. Lynn looked confused. "But that's Protocol 0. "I know," Tarek said. "Do it anyway." She hesitated, then typed in the command. The screen cracked with static, then showed a face, old, human, wrinkled eyes glowing faintly with artificial light. The man smiled. "You finally called me," he said. "Been waiting a long time." "Who are you?" Tarek asked. The old man laughed softly. "I'm from the first Earth colony, the one before Erebus, the one Earth erased." Silence fell in the room. Lynn whispered, "That colony was destroyed, wasn't it?" The man smiled again. "That's what they told you." Behind him, hundreds of people walked by, humans with glowing tattoos, mechanical limbs, and strange armor made of alien metals. The man leaned forward. "We've been watching the council. Watching Earth. Watching you." Tarek's voice grew tense. "Why didn't you speak to us before?" The man's expression changed. "Because you weren't ready," he said. "But now, they declared war, and we don't run from war." The screen glitched again, then showed something terrifying, a dark leviathan, unlike the ones Earth used. Its body was spiked, its eyes were red. It was made not for defense, but pure attack. A secret weapon, hidden by the lost colony. The old man whispered, "We call it the Judgment Star. We built it for one reason. If the council ever came for Earth, we would burn their gods to ash." Back on a council world, panic had begun to spread. Their spies reported back strange words. Earth's watching colony. Leviathan's not the only threat. Something worse is waking. One alien admiral spoke in fear. If they had one hidden colony, they might have more. Another whispered, "What if Earth is not just one planet, but a network of weapons waiting in the dark?" No one laughed anymore. They had mocked Earth once. Now they feared even its secrets, and they hadn't even seen the Judgment Star move. Yet, back in Erebus Prime, the old man on the screen gave one final message. "I'll send the ship," he said. "But it won't come to Earth. It's headed straight to the Council's throne world." Tarek stepped forward. "Why?" The man's voice was cold. "Because we were once forgotten. Now, we remind them. Earth doesn't kneel, Earth remembers. The Judgment Star awakens, and the Council's homeworld begins to burn." It started with a flicker. Just one blinking signal on the Council's edge-world sensors. Too far, too small, too slow. The machines marked it as debris. Then forgot it. But 6 hours later, every satellite in the Sarnath system, the homeworld of the Galactic Council, froze. The signal was not debris. It was not slow. It had been hiding, waiting. Now it was moving faster than light permits. Coming. Straight for them. In the skies above the Council's throne planet, thousands of ships stood guard. The high defense array, built over 200 years, had never been tested. The Sarnath homeworld was considered untouchable. But inside the war room, alarms screamed. Admirals stared at the red dot on the map. No ID code, no origin, just a name, pulsing in old Earth script. Judgment Star. The first admiral laughed. "A trick, some ancient satellite." The second admiral went pale. No, that's an Earth AI warship. I've seen the recordings. But by the time they tried to issue fire commands, it was too late. The skies above Sarnath split open. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't even a Leviathan. It was something else. A structure the size of a moon, shaped like a burning star, black metal, blood-red glow. Its surface shifted like it was alive. Thousands of rotating cannons slid out from hidden walls. Everyone pointed at the Council fleet. And then, the Judgment Star spoke. Its voice was cold, metallic, human. "This is not revenge, this is a response. Earth heard your vote, Earth answered." Then the weapons fired. The first wave was silent. No sound in space. Just light, blinding white beams that cut through the fleet like scissors through paper. Dozens of capital ships were destroyed in the first 5 seconds. The second wave was worse. Micromissiles, coded to hunt by sound and heart rate. They flew around energy shields. They followed fleeing escape pods. They didn't miss. Then came the last wave, pulse shockers. They didn't destroy ships. They destroyed systems. Every screen went dark. Every ship floated, blind and dead. and above them the Judgment Star drifted closer, like a god of death. Inside the council chamber, the panic had turned to horror. Their guards couldn't reach them. Communication was gone. They were trapped. One of the alien chancellors screamed, "Send everything we have." The reply came in a whisper. "There is nothing left to send." The Judgment Star had disabled over 70% of their home fleet in under 1 hour. Only ground defenses remained, and they would not hold. The Chancellor of War, a 4-armed creature named Vorax, slammed his claws onto the table. How did the humans build this? How did we not see it? No one had answers. Far above, in the control core of the Judgment Star, the old man from Part 5 watched calmly. His name, long erased from records, was Elias Ward. He was the last survivor of Earth's first colony mission and the original builder of Earth's lost weapons. He stood in a chamber of glass and starlight. A single AI voice hummed in the background. Target acquired, main cannon charged, awaiting command. Elias stared at the glowing planet beneath him. Billions of lives, alien governments, children, families, but also liars, tyrants, species who voted to erase Earth. He sighed. "We won't destroy the planet," he said quietly. "Not today. But we'll make them remember." He gave the command. "Fire warning strike, no casualties, maximum fear." The main cannon turned. It was large enough to carve a moon in half. Instead, it aimed at the Council's ocean, center of their farming system. The blast came like sunrise. Blue turned red, clouds vanished. The sea boiled in a ring 300 miles wide. No. One died, but millions saw it. And in the sky, the Judgment Star left a message broadcast in every known language. "This is mercy. Earth gives you one chance. Stand down, or we will return without mercy." On Erebus Prime, Commander Tarek watched the broadcast. His heart was pounding. His second-in-command whispered, "We just declared war." "No," Tarek said. "We ended it." But on the Council world, one being did not kneel. Deep in the vaults of the throne chamber, a creature rose from its prison, ancient, huge, wearing armor made from extinct species. Its name was Vaelthrax, the last of the Eternals, a warlord older than Earth's sun. He smiled when he saw the Judgment Star. At last, he growled, "A worthy enemy." And as his power returned, he swore, "I will burn Earth myself." The last Eternal wakes, and Earth's final weapon enters the war. The sky over the Council world was still burning from the warning strike. Oceans hissed as steam rose into the air. Cities stood silent. Billions stared at the heavens, watching the giant shape of the Judgment Star fade into darkness. But below, in a sealed vault of stone and steel, something ancient was waking up. He had slept for 10,000 years, locked in chains made from dying suns. Buried beneath the Council's capital, forgotten by most, feared by all. His name was Vaelthrax, and when his red eyes opened, the galaxy shivered. Vaelthrax did not scream. He smiled. Each movement of his massive arms cracked stone. Chains snapped like paper. He rose from his prison, standing nearly 4 stories tall, his body wrapped in black armor stitched with bones. "This is new," he said, his voice deep like thunder. He looked up through the layers of rock above him. "I smell fire. I smell fear. I smell Earth." He began to climb. Each step sent quakes through the capital. Above ground, guards rushed. Weapons were raised. But the first to see him only had time to whisper, "It's him. It's real." Then they were gone. At the Council Tower, panic had returned. "What do we do?" one alien screamed. Another shouted, "We should have never awakened him. He was supposed to die in the dark." But the War Chancellor Vorax was calm now. He had expected this, and he had one message left to send, not to his own people, but to Earth. Light years away, aboard the Judgment Star, Elias Ward received the transmission. Static crackled. Then Vorax's voice came through, tight with fear. Human, you win. But you've awakened a thing we cannot stop. He is the last eternal. If he escapes, no world is safe, not even yours. If Earth has anything left, send it now. Elias stared at the screen. He turned to the AI beside him. Open. Project Lazarus, he ordered. The AI hesitated. Confirm. Activate Earth's final weapon? Yes. Warning. Project classified as forbidden. I don't care. Far below Earth's surface, deep under the ruins of old Tokyo, machines began to hum. Lights turned on that hadn't glowed in 100 years. A capsule cracked open. Inside, floating in cold stasis, was a human. Young female, wearing a suit of armor unlike anything seen in this galaxy. The name on the file read, Subject, Seraph 1, Last Guardian of Terra. Her eyes opened, glowing white. The voice of Elias reached her mind. Time to wake up, kid. The galaxy needs you. She said nothing. She simply stepped forward, and the Earth shook as Seraph rose. Within minutes, Seraph launched from Earth in a ship built just for her. It was smaller than the Judgment Star, but faster, deadlier, made to fight Eternals. She moved, through space like a comet, trailing blue light. In her mind, tactical maps were already loading. Details on Veilthrax, his strength, his speed, his last known weakness. Only one thing was missing. There was no record of how to kill him, because no one ever had. Back on the Council world, Veilthrax had reached the surface. He stood on the ruins of the old palace, stretching his arms like a beast uncaged. Armies fired at him from all sides. Plasma, bolts, missiles, sonic waves. Nothing touched him. Energy vanished before it hit. He laughed. You think your toys can harm me? I am war. I am extinction. And then, for the first time in 1,000 years, he looked up. He saw something streaking toward him through the clouds, fast, white, burning with light. He squinted. A star? No. A woman. Seraph landed like a meteor. The ground shattered. She stood tall, her white armor humming, wings of energy flaring behind her. Her voice was calm. Veilthrax, you are not welcome, he blinked. Another human, they send a child to stop me? She raised one hand, and from it came a blast of force so powerful it knocked him off his feet, something that hadn't happened in 10,000 years. He landed hard, growling. You dare. I don't dare, she said softly. I end. Then she charged. The battle was unlike anything ever seen. Seraph moved faster than light. She flew through buildings, looped through the sky, kicked Veilthrax into the mountains. He struck back with fists that cracked continents. He threw stars from his palms. She caught them. They fought in the sky, underwater, underground. Every strike sent shockwaves across the planet. Alien citizens could only watch. Some prayed, some ran, others just cried. Because for the first time ever, a human was standing against a god and holding her ground. After 3 hours, both stood wounded. Seraph's armor was cracked. Veilthrax bled dark silver. He roared, charging one last time, but Seraph whispered a final command to her armor. Protocol 0, core overload. The light inside her suit grew blinding. She grabbed him, flew straight into space, and the sky went white. Silence. For a long moment, nothing. Then, one voice came through Earth's deep command link. Mission complete. Target neutralized. Guardian. Returning home. The galaxy would never be the same. The Council fell. Earth became more than legend. It became protector. And from that day forward, all species, friend or enemy, remembered one thing. Never underestimate the humans.